All right, so let's talk about it. I keep getting messages from people I don't know, from people I do know, from family, from friends, and everybody wants to know my opinion about what is going on. Um, and I told them I would not share it on Instagram because I do not feel like having my inbox flooded with a bunch of BS. And I don't want to do it on TikTok because I don't want my TikTok blowing up going, with a bunch of crazy people. So I told the last person that asked me, I will talk about this on my podcast, give my thoughts on it, and share it through an episode to where people actually have to go to my podcast and listen to it, or go to YouTube and watch it. So what's going on with all the protests and whatnot, with regards to illegal immigration and all that stuff? And how does this fit into my podcast? How does this fit into The Perfect Mess? Well, it fits into The Perfect Mess because I think a lot of people want to know my opinion because I am Mexican and Puerto Rican. And they know my opinions. I fly the American flag very proudly. So I think most people want to know my opinion because they know that about me. And they know that I'm probably going to have a differing opinion about what's going on. And my opinion is really, it's basic, man. It's very basic. I think a lot of bad information is going around. I think there's a lot of fear mongering going on. I think that our youth are being misinformed by charged up people who are professional protesters. And what I mean by that is you see the same characters at every protest, whether it's Black Lives Matter, whether it's illegal immigration, whether it's the LGBTQ community, whether it's, whatever the cause, Israel, Palestine, whatever it is, you see the same characters at every single rally or protest. It's all the same. And the reason why I can say this is because I have been to these rallies. All right. I have actually gone out. I've talked to people. The last time they had the BLM rallies with regards to George Floyd, before all the information came out about George Floyd, I was there. I went out there. I supported because I didn't like what I saw. But that was before all of the information came out with regards to who George Floyd was and who all of these people were, and what they were doing. And when I went out there, I started asking questions, talking to people, and I specifically was told from the people who were running the protest that they were paid and flown out to come to the Bay Area to lead protests. They weren't even from, some of them were from New Jersey. And it blew my mind because they told me they're going to be there for like a week or two, then they're getting paid to fly out to Seattle, and they're going to rally up because they have some groups that they're going to meet there. So these people are paid protesters, okay? So a lot of the people that you see with these megaphones that are leading these charges, they are all being paid to lead these groups. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it is the truth. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some people with their heart in the right place out there. There are. I know. I know those people too, and I support them. I love them. But they are getting lost in the sauce. And what I mean by that, they are getting lumped in with these radical groups that are going crazy, that are breaking windows, that are burning cop cars, that are stealing cop cars, that are impeding traffic, stopping people from getting to their kids, getting to work, doing all these things, burning the American flag, all of these things. They are getting lost and bunched in with those guys, and it's unfortunate. So my opinion is this. I don't like the narrative that we continue to push every damn time something happens. It happens every Thanksgiving. It happens every Cinco de Mayo. It happens every Mexican Independence Day. And it happens every time there's a rally with regards to illegal immigration. The stolen land story comes up. This is Mexico. This is native land. Listen, that is continuing to live in the past. I know that's going to ruffle some feathers. That's my opinion. And you guys we'll get on the on the topic of what you guys are probably going to be calling me in the comments, because that's a whole nother thing. But that is the past. And when people say, oh, it was stolen, you have to do your homework. All right? You have to do your homework. The land was not stolen. Every piece of land in this world was conquered. If you've read your history books, and yes, I know a lot of them tell some bullshit stories. They're getting better at releasing new information or old information that they should have given us originally. If you watch these movies, if you read anything in history, you will know that countries conquered other countries. Cities conquered other cities. Tribes conquered other tribes. It happened. It's just the way it was. And what happened with Mexico before any of us were in existence was the same thing. Conquered and paid for. It's not going to change. And the narrative that we can continue to push every year to charge everybody up, to get everybody out in these streets to act like some idiots, to burn the flag, to act like we're out there on some resistance, is bananas. It doesn't help the movement. It doesn't change anything. Yes, you should know your history. You should know why this is no longer Mexico. You should know that. It's very important. But what is not is continuing to play the victim. Continue to teach these kids to be victims. You are victims. You are on stolen land. The white man in America stole this land. That's not something that you should continue to push and keep these kids angry and in their feelings. It doesn't help. It does not help. Teach them about the history, but also teach them why they should be proud to be Americans. And here's the thing on that topic. So I had someone tell me recently, no matter how hard you try and how much you try to be an American, they will never accept you. I don't know that mentality. I told that person, this is a you problem. This is not a me problem. I don't have an issue being accepted. I am an American. I was born and raised here. My grandfather told me this. I used to fly the Mexican and Puerto Rican flag before I ever flew the United States flag. And my grandpa says, I know it's cool. I know it's cool to tell everybody you're Mexican, you're Puerto Rican. I know it's like great and you're young and whatever. He goes, but let me let you understand something. You are an American first. You've never set foot in Mexico. You've never even been to Puerto Rico. You don't know how they would treat you over there. He goes, I have been there. And they look at us like Americans. They treat us like Americans. They don't like the way that we speak Spanish. They look at us differently. They don't like the way we move. He goes, you have to be so much more of a Mexican when you go to Mexico. You have to be so much more Puerto Rican when you go to Puerto Rico. And that is the truth. So I know you're young and you enjoy that, but understand one thing. They look at you completely different over there. You are an American. In fact, you're third or fourth generation American. I grew up being called a coconut, being called a white boy, a gabacho, güerito, gringo. That's what they used to call me. I'm okay with that. I understood. I'm light-skinned. I always had straight hair. I get it. But at the same time, what's going on right now, people like myself that grew up like me, that look like this, we're being told that we're sellouts because we're not out there with you. When on any other day, you show us racism just based off what we look like because we don't speak it like you do. And then you get upset because the Mexicans, the Puerto Ricans, the Cubans, the Dominicans, and all of us that grew up here, that were born and raised here, because we're not out there, you talk shit about us. You say we're wannabe white people. We don't care about our countries. That's not our country. I love the fact that if you're from Mexico, I love it. I support that 1,000%. I love it. But you also have to understand, some of us were born here. And when you burn our flag, yes, our flag, the United States, it does something to us. It affects us because this is the country that gave us everything we have. This is the country that our ancestors came to legally and gave us a life. It affects us. And there's a lot of people that came here legally that are busting their ass, and they know why they came here, and they're earning a living to take care of their families, and they take pride in this country. So when you go around and you say, fuck America, fuck this, fuck that, and you burn the flag, why would you want to stay somewhere when you burn the flag? Why would you want to stay somewhere? And people are saying, oh, I hope the Mexican president, I wish the Mexican president was our president. She is the president. And my theory is this, like anybody else. If you love that president so much and you're legally a citizen there, why be here? Why be here? This topic does hit me in my heart because I coach kids. I coach a lot of kids. I do have some kids that are of Mexican descent, and they're here legally. All right. And I've talked to them, and some of them are in their feelings right now talking about, I feel like I'm not wanted here. And I tell them, stop doing that. Stop acting like that. You are paying attention to these kids that don't know their history. They think they know their history, but they're sitting on TikTok and Instagram watching these rallies and these protests all day, and they're feeling like America hates you guys. It doesn't. It doesn't. You need to sit down with your parents, your abuelitos, your abuelitas, and talk to them and ask them why they came here, why they became citizens here, and why they're not going back to Mexico, why they choose to stay here. Ask them, talk to them, talk to your elderly people in your family. Stop listening to these 19, 20-something-year-old college kids who have been indoctrinated with all this bullshit at their college. Stop. Talk to your family. I can tell you from my own experience, I have driven around my hometown and I've been in situations where there's elderly Mexicans in there. Elderly. I was in the sauna yesterday and there were 6 elderly Mexican women in there. And all they kept saying was how stupid it was that these young people were out there burning the American flag and raising the Mexican flag, and how embarrassing it was. These ladies were somebody's moms and grandmas in the sauna. I went to a supermarket yesterday, a Mexican supermarket, and they were listening to it on their phone, the news. And I could hear the guys going, tontos, estúpidos, talking about burning the flag, talking about stealing cop cars. I'm not kidding you. You need to take time to sit and talk with your elderly family members so they can inform you what's going on. And by the way, if you have family that went and got their papers legally, ask them why they did it. Ask them, hey, why don't we take our family and move back to Mexico? I promise you they're going to have a great answer for you. And you might rethink going out there and protesting. But here's the flip side. I'll give you this. Here's the flip side to all of that. The last person that asked me this, I said, you know what? Maybe you need to go out there and experience it. Because I did. See, there was a thing called Prop 209, which was allowing minorities to get into college easier, equal opportunity and whatnot. And they took it away years ago. All right? This was in the early 2000s, I want to say. And I went out to Cal Berkeley and I protested. I walked with everybody there. I didn't even go to Cal Berkeley, but I wanted to be a part of it. I was passionate about it. And I understood. But as I got older, I started to understand why they were trying to remove that and what was going on. I get it. Okay? So the last kid that asked me this, I said, maybe you need to go out there. Because I understand. I'm not telling you to not experience. I know I was your age. I was fired up. I thought everybody didn't like us. I thought we were destined to just be the bottom of the barrel. And it wasn't true. I got older and I understood. I started doing my research. But maybe you as a teenager need to go out there and experience this. Experience it, have your opinion, and then when you get older, wisen up and start learning. Maybe you need that experience to calm you down so you get it and you hear all these things. Maybe you need to go out there and talk to some of these people and get your own information. Maybe you need to talk to that person that has that megaphone and find out, are they really legitly from your area and are really just fired up, or did they come from some other part of the states and get paid to come there? And if they did, you should question why. You should question why they would be making money to do what they're doing. I'm telling you. I am telling you. You know, it's so wild to watch all this going on because I've had to explain this stuff to my kids. I've had to tell my kids, when you go to school, is anybody asking about this? Is anybody talking about it? And they're like, no, not really. I said, okay, listen, I want you guys to avoid that conversation. I don't want you guys to give an opinion because no matter what you say on either side, someone's going to be pissed off about it. So just, if it ever comes up, how do you feel about illegal immigration, blah, 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 just say, dude, I don't know. That's above my pay grade. I don't know too much about it. I just know that everybody's pissed off. It doesn't matter. And you just leave it alone. Trust me, you don't know enough about it, and I'm trying to teach you as you go, as you have questions, but it's a lose-lose topic. I'm going to lose on this episode of this podcast. There's going to be people in my comments. There's going to be people in my DMs. There's going to be people that are pissed off about what I just said, and I understand that. That's fine. That's totally fine. It's totally fine. But here's my thing. You have to understand something. Imagine a bunch of Americans going to Mexico and wanting to stay in Mexico and are protesting Mexico wanting to kick them out by waving the American flag in Mexico and burning the Mexico flag. What do you think Mexico would do? What do you think the cartels would do? Can we just be honest? If you're not going to give me anything, at least give me that. They would have a shit fit if we went over there and waved a bunch of American flags and burned the Mexican flag. They would throw a shit fit and people would probably die. That's the truth. And here's the other thing. If you have really done your research, you would know that inside Mexico, they are protesting immigrants that are there from other countries. They don't want them there. The people that are coming from South America through and staying there until they can get to the United States. They are also protesting. There are also news stories coming out of Mexico with the local Mexicans tired of these illegal immigrants coming into Mexico and staying in the cities around the border until they can get to America. Do you understand what I'm saying? And now the Mexican president now has servicemen along the border to help with illegal immigration. So now that you know that, are you going to go and protest over there now too? Because now the Mexican president is helping. You guys have to understand. You have to dig deeper. Everything that's going on right now is surface level bullshit. Dig deeper. Ask questions. I understand about being passionate. I understand about being fired up. But what I don't understand, and what I always will tell every single one of you guys that listens to my podcast, is this. Stop playing the victim. Stop using your skin color or your heritage as an excuse. When that person told me you'll never be accepted by the white man no matter how much you try, I've never been trying to be accepted by the white man. And I don't even look at shit like that. I'm just trying to be a great father, provide for my kids, and live a peaceful life. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't give a shit what people think about me. I don't give a damn what color they are or anything. In fact, I will say it again. The most racism I've ever dealt with in my life came from my own people. People that were supposed to be just like me, but because I didn't speak the language or I wasn't from the area, they made fun of me. That's not me playing the victim. That's me letting you know. That's how a lot of us here are treated. And the funny part is the people that actually came from those countries, came here and then did it legally, they also get talk shit to. Why? Because now that they're showing allegiance to America. You want to know why they're showing allegiance to America? Because they understand this is the country that is giving them their opportunity to take care of their family. It's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. Newsflash. It's never going to be perfect. No country is perfect. Every country has their bullshit. And if you agree with everything that the person you voted for is doing, you have bigger problems. I don't agree with everything that Trump is doing. I don't. But I never agreed with everything that any other president I voted for was doing. Not Obama, not Clinton, not Bush, not anybody. Not Biden. I didn't agree with everything. I agreed with some things. You guys have to quit assuming because someone voted a certain way that they are 100% in agreement with everything they're doing, because that's incorrect. That's also ignorant. That's you looking for a reason to be upset at somebody. Here's the biggest issue, and I'm gonna end with this. Here's the biggest thing that a lot of people need to understand is you cannot do what we've been allowing here in this country anywhere else. You cannot just go to another country, stay there, evade the law, and just assimilate into the population, and then just it is what it is. They don't allow it. They hunt you down and they will remove you. Every country does that. The problem is we stopped doing that here. We loosened up the border. We stopped. It wasn't just 4 years ago. It's been like that for years. We stopped enforcing our laws, so it got too loose and people got comfortable. And now that we're trying to correct it, we're almost in a sense overcorrecting, and it looks really bad. I get it. I understand. But here's the last two things I'll finish with. A lot of you guys are using Obama's speeches over these protests and him talking about race and all this stuff and how, we got to come together. You're using a lot of audio from Obama. But one thing you need to know, and this is how I know you've done zero research, is he deported the most illegal immigrants in the history of American presidents. Go do your research. So that's goofy. The second thing is, you guys keep playing this Bandera song by Lefty SM. Great song. I love that song. But now you are using it as a call to unity and war against the United States and for your pride for Mexico. Newsflash, Lefty SM was killed in Mexico by a home invasion of his own people who were Mexican. Let me say that again. This beloved artist from Mexico who has the most iconic song that I've heard in years was murdered in Mexico by his own people of Mexican descent. They raided his house. They did a home invasion and murdered him. Where is the love? If it's so beautiful out there and people are burning the American flag, you're ignoring the fact that there is so much corruption there. It's like you're turning a blind eye. We're not stupid. We know what's going on out there. Guys, just do your research and understand something. Yes, this country was built on immigrants, but at some point it has to be corrected. Now, my final thought on this is this. I wish that they would change course with one thing. If you've been here and you didn't break the law and you're paying your taxes, you're working, you're a law-abiding citizen, I wish they would just fast track these people and get them their citizenship so they can get back to work. That's what I wish they could change. I wish they could do that, not take these people and get them out of here. I wish they would fast track these people who are law-abiding citizens. I know they broke the law getting here illegally. I get it. But to avoid the bullshit, if they are literally busting their ass, working their ass off, have a family, and they're doing their thing, I wish they would fast track these people into citizenship. And if you have a criminal history and you've been breaking the law, you've been an asshole out here, then you need to go. That's it. That's all I have to say. I love you guys. God bless. Like I always say, my life isn't perfect. Oftentimes it is a mess, but for me, it is a perfect mess. Please follow me on TikTok at It's Ray Molina. I go live every day, twice a day. Follow my Instagram, it's Ray Molina, and my YouTube, youtube.com/The Perfect Mess Pod. Go there, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Again, my life isn't perfect. Oftentimes it is a mess, but for me, it is the perfect mess. Peace. I love you. God bless. Be safe.